My name is Doug Cerny, and I'm the IT Director for JD Heiskell. JD Heiskell is a trading and commodity company, and we operate mills all over the country that specialize in grain feed for dairy cattle. As with any opportunity in IT, you're trying to manage risk. And we were at a kind of a point where we needed to make a decision for upgrade to stay contemporary. Along with being on older versions, we were on older hardware. And we were also struggling with managing the database from the pervasive side. From a time perspective, we knew that reports were running much slower than they could be. From a resources standpoint, we struggled with managing the pervasive database because of the expertise of our development staff. The users are the first priority. So when we were looking at opportunities to advance the system or to move on to more contemporary versions, we wanted to have a minimal impact on them. And if anything, make it a better solution that was more performant for our users. Having the resources on the team that would be able to manage the database was a critical part of the decision. Another big component that we were looking for was disaster recovery. So the existing system that we have didn't appear to be as user-friendly. So we looked at things other than Agris. We looked at other product bases. Nothing seemed to be a good fit at the time, and not worth the time and money it would take to move to an entirely new ERP system. We also looked at staying on pervasive from a database perspective. But we started to work with the leadership at Greenstone and understood that the future of Agris is running on Microsoft SQL Server. And there was a good opportunity for us. The system was stable enough and working on Microsoft SQL Server that ultimately we made the decision to not only upgrade Agris, but also move from pervasive to Microsoft SQL Server. The other opportunities were basically because of the future of Agris and also just continuing to manage the unknown and the inability to manage the database and have the system perform like we needed it to. Some of the issues, Agris did a great job of consulting with us, so we knew to prepare for them as we were going through the process of upgrading. We wanted to keep our systems separated so that we could manage the different organizations within JD Heiskell on separate systems. First and foremost, the customers are the number one priority. So we wanted to have a minimal impact as possible. So a lot of it was behind the scenes work. So it put a lot of pressure on our IT team, but ultimately the end user saw a minimal impact and a huge amount of results. So we knew how the system would perform better. We had some instances where queries were returning with 3 to 10 times better performance in our initial beta testing. So there was a lot of confidence going down the path of the solution. So when we were migrating and upgrading and going through our initial beta testing, it didn't take long for us to see results that were coming back from 3 to 10 times faster of what we were experiencing on the existing database. So there was a lot of confidence for us going into the solution and that we were going to have a much better performing system. We have the skill set on the team to manage Microsoft SQL Server. It's a more well-known database in the industry, and we had a lot of experience working with other systems that we integrate with Microsoft SQL Server. So it was a natural fit for us to be able to move Agris over to Microsoft SQL Server. The system is much faster. From a user perspective, not only doing the daily data entry, but also from a reporting perspective. Reports just return much faster than they did in the previous system. We also have a lot more confidence in our disaster recovery. Since we're familiar with Microsoft SQL Server and we're able to manage the database, we're able to have confidence in knowing that if a DR situation were to happen, we would be confident in our ability to bring back the system. We have a number of external systems that integrate with Agris, from our transportation system to warehousing to our CRM. Those are custom applications that we manage hitting the Agris database from a Agris services layer. We have seen tremendous improvement in performance in each one of those systems because of the move to Microsoft SQL Server. The systems are able to respond and give data back to our users much faster than it did previously. One of the best stories from the Agris release was the morning that we released. One of the users came into my office and told me she starts every day running spot reports, checking on new contracts, and open contracts. Usually she would start the day starting these reports and would go make a cup of coffee, come back 15, 20 minutes later, and then have the ability to print them out for the trader. Now those reports respond in about a minute, and she doesn't have time to go make that coffee. But if we expand that amount of time across all of our 250 users, you can see the benefits of the upgrade to Microsoft SQL Server. One of the great benefits is the ability to work with Agris even closer than we did before. Where before we were managing pervasive, it was a little bit of a black hole. Now we can help Agris understand exactly where we're seeing issues, and Agris is able to help us troubleshoot and work through solutions for the organization. I would add that Greenstone as an organization and managing and supporting the Agris through this process has been amazing. Agris from the very beginning, working with the sales team, was very encouraging for the migration to Microsoft SQL Server. When we were opening support tickets, the team was very responsive in helping us every step throughout the way. And it's been a month since we've released, and we've already had a release that's helped us solve a couple problems that we were seeing initially. So Agris has been a great partner through this entire process, and we're looking forward to working with them as we help take Agris to the next level.